Artemis II was a 9-day lunar flyby mission, the first crewed flight of the NASA-led Artemis program and the first crewed flight beyond low Earth orbit since Apollo 17 in 1972. NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, commander, Victor Glover, pilot, and Christina Koch, mission specialist, along with CSA astronaut Jeremy Hansen, mission specialist, flew aboard the Orion spacecraft, which the crew named Integrity. Launch. The Space Launch System rocket lifted off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, at 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time on April 1, 2026, sending the crew on a trajectory around the Moon and back to Earth. The following day, the spacecraft's main engine completed a 43-second burn to raise the lowest point of its orbit and refine its trajectory, placing it in a stable high Earth orbit aligned with its path to the Moon. Outbound journey and lunar flyby. The crew traveled farther from Earth than any humans in history, surpassing the Apollo 13 record of 248,655 miles to reach a maximum distance of 252,760 miles, about 4,105 miles beyond the previous record. During the flyby, Orion passed within 4,070 miles of the lunar surface. The crew swung around the far side of the Moon on April 6, 2026. A highlight of that day was an unexpected treat. Astronaut Victor Glover described watching the sun disappear behind the Moon in a solar eclipse as the mission highlight, saying it blew us all away. Return to Earth. After exiting the Moon's sphere of gravitational influence on April 7, the crew headed back toward Earth. A series of trajectory correction burns kept Orion on course. The capsule hit the atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean southeast of Hawaii at 7:53 p.m. Eastern Time, entering a 6-minute communications blackout as plasma formed around it during peak heating. 10 minutes after atmospheric entry, the drogue parachutes deployed as planned, followed in short succession by the 3 main chutes. Splashdown and recovery. Orion splashed down in the Pacific Ocean about 40 to 50 miles off the coast of San Diego at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time on April 10, right on schedule. Mission Control called it a perfect bullseye splashdown. By the final numbers, Integrity and her crew flew 700,237 miles total, reached a peak velocity of 24,664 miles per hour, and landed within less than a mile of their target. Recovery crews reported that all 4 astronauts were doing well and were in high spirits, taking selfies with the medical team inside the capsule before being brought out onto the inflatable, front porch, raft. They were then airlifted by helicopter to the USS John P. Murtha for post-mission medical evaluations before flying back to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Significance. Artemis II marked humanity's first crewed journey to the vicinity of the Moon in more than 53 years. And its primary purpose was to validate the Orion spacecraft and SLS rocket with crew aboard, paving the way for future missions aimed at landing astronauts on the lunar surface.